The other day about the closeness of this team and how this time of year is when that really comes through. What is it that kind of signals that to you?
I mean, if you be in the locker room after the Illinois game and also practice, I mean, they have fun at practice and we've had great energy. Practice preparing as the year goes on, and so you can just tell that for the kids that are playing, they're playing well. The kids that are on the work teams and giving us the scout looks each week have done a good job. So I think right now is that everybody's in a pretty good mood, and like I say, I mean, we've won 3 in a row, and winning solves a lot of problems.
One thing that they mentioned was working with psychologists and that kind of thing to help them. How have you how did that initiate, and how has that kind of been beneficial?
I mean, we're no different than anybody. We have all the different services or whatever to provide to our kids, whatever they need to do, and so I do. I'm not as hands on with some of that stuff as I meet with the seniors and they keep me informed of what's going on, and so but anytime it comes from them, it's a lot more effective than me forcing it on people.
What do you see so far from Purdue's offense?
Just all the different passing game that they have. They like to throw it around, and they're skilled at wide receiver. But from drop back to play action, 3-step, all the screens, all the different people. So they get the ball out in space and to some good athletes, and we're going to have a great job of tackling. I think the yards after the catch and keeping the ball in front of us will be a big determination of whether we can win. And the same thing will be with the pressure, is trying to get us pressure without as many people going, so it increases your chances of tackling in space.
Tracy, with the nagging injuries you've had with some of the guys, including in the offensive line, but they've been able to play, is that stepping in the right direction for you right now to get a feel for their health?
Yeah, I mean, knock on wood, I mean, I feel like I'm on vacation from injuries compared to what was a year ago. I mean, we're nowhere near what we went through a year ago, so this is more like a normal year. That's part of it. I know that Jonah and Zoe are listed as out, but they have been cleared to practice, okay? And we'll see how they do on Tuesday and Wednesday for practice, and then hopefully they'll get cleared Thursday morning, after they practice a couple days. But the doctors and the training staff is going to let them practice here the next 2 days and see how they do.
And Richardson probably be still good?
Yeah, he's good to go.
Tracy, everyone talks about kind of one game at a time. But how does this team actually been able to put that into action? I mean, not just talk about it.
Yeah, I think you have to talk about it, and you have to show examples, and so we try to do that, and I think that we had a thing there where we were starting to feel a little bit too good about ourselves there, and didn't perform up to our capabilities there, and so that's all you can do, and some people call it negative, but I tend to stress the opportunities you lose if you do that, rather than what you gain, and because you don't get those things back once you lose those opportunities. So our seniors done a great job, like saying, and by practice, and when our kids, and I ask of them is that they respect the opponents, and each week when we show up here, our 3 to 4 hours that we get each day, that's all it is football, and they prepare that way. When they leave here, then they get a chance to relax and work on academics or whatever. But when we're here in the building, they need to work on respecting their opponent, and they've done a good job with that here lately, and we'll have to continue. I mean, we've got four tough games left, and we need to make sure we continue to take them one at a time.
Part part of that, kind of looking at how Purdue has competed in the first half of the last couple of games and how you guys
Yeah.
played against them in 14?
Yeah, 2 years ago they came in here and had me scrambling. I mean, they scored a lot of points, and we struggled getting them stopped and found a way to win the game at the end. And they beat Nebraska a year ago and played awfully well up there this year, and even at Penn State into the third quarter, they'd scored some points and was there. So they played some awfully good football, and so we're going to have to make sure we're ready, or we won't win.
Tracy, you've had some great defensive backs here in recent years, but what are the skills for Harden that kind of make him the player he is?
Yeah, I mean, all of them. I mean, one, they can run, and two, they have, and we talk about a burst or, the ability to get out of breaks, efficiently. They don't take a lot of steps, and they can get out of breaks, and it just allows you to close out that distance when the ball's in the air, and so they all have that. And then, but I still think there's a mentality there of a DB. I think that kids either have the mentality that they want to have the ball in their hands and run away from everybody and not get hit. And then there's ones who have the mentality they want to take the ball away and get after people. And very few are true. There's very few that can do both. I believe that, have the mentality to do both. And so, Keontae's another one that, he'll go get the ball and do whatever he can to get it, but besides his athletic ability. So those are the things that the kids here we've had, they've also had the mentality. They've all wanted to play DB. I'm not a big believer in taking a wide receiver or running back and saying you have to play DB. We recruit kids that want to play DB and have the skills, and so I think that has a lot to do with it.
How do you describe the confidence that you need in a DB because they'll be on an island a lot?
You don't describe. Like I say, is that they got to give me confidence. That's what I tell them, And you watch any level of football, they get beat deep. It's the next play mentality, and you really have to treat it like they're lucky to get that done and snap back and go again. There's a lot of space out there. Anybody who goes on a football field and just stand back there, and there's an awful lot of space out there, and the rules are such that people want more and more offense, and that's okay with me, and it's just a bigger challenge. So I think the mentality part of it is along with the athletic ability. It's important that they have both.
Is Keontae up there among tacklers too from that position, because he's a smaller guy?
Yeah, again, he's smaller, but he's strong. He's got a lot of strength, and in high school ball, in his high school, everybody was going out doing 7-on-7 and passing and that, and I think they were lined up running middle drill at Webb City, and that's just the mentality there, and that school's won a lot of games, and John Roderick, and so there's a toughness there that he enjoys about football.
You talked about Demarius and his ability to watch film with Antonio and those guys.
Yeah.
What other aspects have there been for his leadership?
Well, just in the off season when the players have their player-only practices, they go out and do those practices. The seniors did a good job, make sure they're organized and competitive, but not in situations where you get people hurt. I think that's a big deal. I think the NFL is, they know how to practice without pads and not get people hurt. And if you learn to do that in college, I think that's a huge advantage. And those kids, we've been in places before, either to be fights, when they do player-only practices, or everybody's getting hurt and you just have to cancel them and quit doing them. So our kids have learned to work together. And it's because the more of that they can do in the off season, and it probably becomes a little bit more funner since coaches aren't out there, and let them again take ownership of it. I think that's played a big part in how close we are.
Coach, did you notice any difference in recruiting when you win 3 in a row?
3 in a row is it's the end result. I don't know that. We get to send them mail that we've won 3 times in a row, and the tweets and all that. But it's just like I don't ever want to be judged on 3 games, and I don't think recruits ever judge anybody on 3 games. It all comes down to the end of the season and relationships.
How do Travis and Winfield's skills complement each other and make them kind of compatible back there?
Well, just that's what you try to do at safety. You don't want to get a kid where you say, sometimes you have to now, but you don't want ones that, hey, he's good against the run and he's better against the pass, and that way, wherever you line them up, you really give away what you're doing. So we try to find those kids that can get in the box and tackle, and at the same time have the ability to cover receiver. And just so happens those two can do it, but it's a hard. It's a hard deal to find that. You watch a lot of people, and one guy's always usually in the middle of the field, one guy's always in the box, and there's times because of injuries we've had to do that, but I'd rather have those guys that can do both, because I do think still disguising and giving different looks before the ball snap is an important part of playing pass defense.
How has Jalen Myrick graded out lately?
Good. He really has. He's played well. Disappointed he gave up the post. Not this week, but the week before, he gave up the one post route that is one thing to tell our corners. The first thing is you can't get beat on the post, or you can't play here. Because we put them out on the island, and they don't have middle of the field help all the time. So that's a route that I can handle a lot of other things that get beat on a route, but the post we got to make sure we take away. But no, he's done awfully well and continue to improve, the side of the field he's on has been very productive for us this year.
Tracy, do you feel like you guys have played a complete game in all three facets?
Not yet. I mean, we've gotten closer, but is that we haven't put it all together yet. Even at Illinois, I know the times when come, we got to be more efficient in the passing game. The wind was tough. I was down there, and you sit there and you watch the film and the pants of the officials and how bad the wind. I mean, the ball was rolling all over. Remind me of some of the golf tournaments when the ball was blow off the green. I mean, it wasn't the best things to throw the ball, but we're going to have to be more efficient in throwing the ball here as we go down the stretch.
Got one more for Coach? As you get down to these last games, Coach, do you feel a little more maybe comfort level or willingness in running Mitch more with the ball?
Is that we've really felt comfortable all along, but obviously, I mean, we're going to do what it takes to win the ball game, and I think both tailbacks on the field at the same time has helped us a little bit, with one split out and one in the backfield, and vice versa. But but it all comes down to we can find ways to run the ball. I believe that. But eventually we're going to have to be more efficient in throwing it. But whatever we have to do, if that means Mitch run it more, then that's what we'll do.